everybody. Carl again here at the Red Pill Investor Podcast, as well as Sell More Homes Now on YouTube. I really appreciate you joining me today for Real Estate Lead Generation, episode number 505 of the Red Pill Investor. Now, if you're just joining us from YouTube at Sell More Homes Now, then I would highly encourage you to go ahead and take a look at the podcast that we have at theredpillinvestor.com, where you'll find well over, as I said, 500 episodes specifically designed for wholesaling and investing, particularly if you're a realtor and you have a little bit of a bent that way. If, let's say, you're on theredpillinvestor.com listening on the podcast on Spotify or maybe on iTunes, then I might encourage you to go ahead and check out Sell More Homes Now on YouTube. That's a channel that I developed to go ahead and help with the practical aspects of real estate salesmanship. Some of the tips and tricks that I've learned in a visual way over the years. So today what we're going to talk about is real estate lead generation. Now, one of the biggest problems that I've sort of discovered with real estate practitioners, is this issue of generating enough leads to be profitable. You're always in a struggle. If you're a newer agent or an investor, you may not have a lot of money, or maybe you're looking for, some independent, maybe some inexpensive ways, right, to find some extra families you can help each year. But no matter why you're here, or regardless of your level of experience, right, we're generally, as practitioners, we're open to always finding new and inexpensive ways to help get more business, new techniques to help keep us sharp and give us an edge, if you will, on our competitors. But the question then becomes, well, what is cost effective, what is profitable, and what's repeatable? You could certainly run an ad in the paper, but there's no guarantee the kind of return you'll get. You could certainly run a pay-per-click sort of campaign on the internet. You might have some sort of predictability there, but is it really necessarily profitable? It's hard to say. Is it cost effective? In this podcast, I wanted to spend a few extra minutes on the topic of real estate lead generation as a way to further expand on what I spoke on episode 500, what I would coach you on if I was to work with you or consult you personally. So let's first start with a few basic ideas, right? Now, before you start spending any money, I'd like you to consider the following. We're all in a frenetic rush to spend money or throw money at a problem, thinking that I'm just going to go buy this system or buy that system, and then it's going to bring me leads. And before you do all that, have you done the following, right? Now, have you contacted your center of influence? 99% of us could stop right here at this point in the podcast and get more business if we did that alone. The truth is, we don't call our center of influence, we don't text our center of influence, we don't talk to them because, God forbid, they know I'm in real estate. If you haven't done this, if you haven't talked to your center of influence recently, you got to ask yourself, well, why? Why is this? Why is it that I'm afraid to talk to them? Do I not know what to say? Do I not have anything to say? What's the thing that's preventing me? Many times I've found it's because of fear. You're afraid to go to your center of influence because you're afraid of appearing weak. You're afraid of looking like you're begging, or afraid of looking like a fool because you don't know what to say. I understand this, but you have to really get deep down in your heart an understanding that these people want to help you. Okay, they're your friends, they're your center of influence, they're your your compadres, they're the guys you went to school with, the girl who cuts your nails, I mean your pastor, whoever it is that's in your life, these people want to help you. There's really no logical reason for you to be afraid to contact them in a systematic way, offer them something of value, ask for something in return, a referral, and then, you'd be surprised what things will happen. They're free and they're easy to talk to. You've got their number right there on your cell phone. How about this one? Have you contacted any and all available expired or canceled listings? Now, I know that, a lot of people are hesitant to do this because there's a lot of competition in that marketplace. I also recognize that those people are not always necessarily the easiest to work with or happiest to talk to. Have you contacted any and all available for sale by owners? I mean, these people want to sell. They're giving out their number. They're making it obvious that they want to sell. If you don't want to do these things, if you don't want to do any of this, look, Carl, I don't want to talk to my center of influence. I don't want to call for sale by owners or expireds or cancels. I don't want to knock on their doors. I'd just rather spend money. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry. I got something coming up for you there. But maybe here's another thought. Have you knocked around the doors, around the listings in the areas you want to work? I mean, statistically, you and I both know that when a home goes up on the market in a neighborhood, usually 2 more go on the market within the next couple months. Why? Well, because they're up and down driving the street and they say, oh, their home's on the market for blankety blank. I didn't know they were asking, $300,000 for that. Gosh, they don't even have the 9-inch nails that we got, the 2x6 construction. Gosh, if they get 300, well, we can get 3 1/4. How about this one? Have you created a YouTube channel? How about that? That's free. And don't sit here and tell me, oh gosh, I'm too old. I'm too old to do that. Look, I know 83-year-old women who text emojis to their grandkids, okay? Don't tell me that you're too old. Be in charge of your own, press releases. Be in charge of your own PR. I mean, good Lord, you and I both remember a day when we would have to send a press release to the local paper, and then we'd have to wait and look in the paper to see when it came out. We'd clip it out, we'd send it to our friends. Hey, look, I'm in the paper. You don't need to wait for that anymore. You're in charge of your own PR. When you think about it, these are free, easy things that you can do that do not cost you anything, that give you an experience, a chance, if you will, an exposure to people that perhaps you didn't have before. And these things, they're not going to change over time. Oh, sure, maybe people aren't going to call anymore. Maybe in the future people aren't going to text. But, knocking on doors probably, is still always going to be around. There's still going to be a chance to knock on somebody's door somewhere, rather be where they work or where they live. Being on YouTube, I don't see that leaving anytime soon. All right, well, let's get down to some of the other stuff, right? How about this one? Point number 2, prospecting on the multiple listing service. Here's another free thing probably you didn't think about. When you're prospecting on the multiple listings service, obviously you're thinking many times of expired and canceled listings, but there's other things you can do as well. When I think of expired and canceled listings, I think, when you contact an expired or a canceled listing, you now have another approach at your disposal, for more difficult customers. If you're a realtor, this is a big thing. This is an issue that you can use to your advantage. You got a customer that says that they don't want to show you the home without a buyer. Well, guess what? I am the buyer. Yeah, I'll make an offer on your home today. May not be what you want, but yeah, hell yeah, I'll make an offer on it. I need to see the house. If you still want to sell, I need to see the house. And you might ask yourself, well, why is that important? If they're giving you that much grief up front, why do you even want to go in? Well, because a lot of times when you go face to face, they're keyboard commandos. They're tough on the phone. But when you get face to face, guess what? Most of the time they're easy. They're really nice people. You just got to get past the defense. I wrote down, additionally, you have access to the expired and canceled listings from a year or more ago. This is super critical if you're a realtor. If you're not a realtor and you're an investor, a wholesaler, this tip may not apply to you. But if you are a realtor, you've got access to those expired and canceled listings from a year ago. And this is important because now you can approach them. Oh, sure. They might have rented it out. Now, if you're a realtor, you know this little game, right? You've probably had this game played on you if you're a listing agent, right? The seller says, well, gosh, we're just going to rent it out. We can't keep on losing money, so we're going to rent it out. So then you cancel the listing and, you're like, oh, gosh, and you're angry because you put all that money, time, and energy into a listing that didn't sell, and now they rented it out for a year. And you think to yourself, oh gosh, game over, time to move on to the next one. But the smart realtors, the smart people, the smart investors, they're going out, they're calling these expired and canceled listings from a year ago, okay, recognizing that they may have rented it out. And you can contact them because now, guess what? That tenant's rent, that's probably coming up. That lease is coming up. And more often than not, okay, that homeowner, they don't want to be a landlord. I mean, that's why they were selling it in the first place. That's how they got here to begin with. They didn't want to be here. It's just how they ended up here. And now they're going to have another decision. And you know how most people are. Most people aren't making a 6-month, lease. They're not making a 9-month lease. They're making a year-long lease. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. Think this through. The landlord, they don't want to be, the homeowner doesn't want to be a landlord, so it doesn't really matter if you go after this as a listing or as an investment, because this is a potential lead. And, you and the former listing agent are the only people who know about it. This could go on day after day after day. You can't find a lead today? Look for the expired listings from a year ago. Then tomorrow comes. You don't have any leads? Look for, a year ago. It can go on and on and on. I wrote down another prospecting from the MLS part is previous sale data or sale data. Now look, this data is absolutely precious. All right? Zillow and Trulia are only so close in terms of final price, but they do not have some of the most important factors of all. The concessions, the terms, the dates, the how long did it take to sell. Those things are critical points of a sale. I mean, sure, okay, fine. Maybe, like, say, for example, here in Pima County, Zillow's price, differential is about 4%. They're about 4% off, give or take. But in other counties in Arizona, like Apache or La Paz, it's upwards of 16% differential. How on earth can you make a reasoned decision? And furthermore, even if you could get let's hypothetically pretend that this is 2019 right now when you're watching this, and let's say we go 10 years into the future and it's 2029 and they've got no more MLSs and everything is open on the interwebs or whatever they call it at that time, right? And And you can instantly tell what a property sold for, and it was 99% worth of that worth. And it was, I mean, really very little differential. And it was, you could almost tell to the T what a home would sell for. Let's pretend that's the environment you're in. It still does not matter because it doesn't tell you the concessions, the terms, or the time of the sale. If you don't know what kind of financing they had, if you don't know what kind of closing costs, if any, they paid, if you don't know how quickly it took to sell or how long it took to sell, then what difference does it make what the price is? Because without the other things, the price is almost a non-issue. You know, when you think about it, this is helpful for you as an investing realtor because you can tell if it's ever been on the market, how long it's been, how long it took to sell, if it was canceled, if it didn't sell to begin with. I mean, you can use this to determine if it was recently purchased and they're trying to flip it to you. There's so many things you can tell. You know, sure, you know, in the assessor, you can get this information from the assessor's office, but it does take time to get that. You know, the assessor's office isn't instantly updated the second something is recorded at the courthouse. It doesn't work like that. It takes 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe a month, 2 months, who knows? Depending on where you're at, it could take 2, 3 months. When you think about it, for us, this sale data, this pending data, this concessions and terms and times, this is a lead generation tool for you. It is. If you can go around and say, gosh, you know what? Hey, we sold the house down the street, okay, in 3 days. We got 4 offers on the thing. It was full price, which is great news. It means we got, our home sold, but there's 3 people out there who still want to buy. Have you considered selling your property? That's a lead prospecting thing for you as a realtor. If you're looking as an investor and you have that access on MLS, well, then you could tell what your competitor paid. I did this just the other day. Great example. I know another investing realtor in my market buys property, and I know his company name, and I was in negotiations with a seller, and I could see that my competitor paid for a very similar property to this one a certain amount. And I was like, hey, I know my competitor paid that amount for this house, and there was a similar condition. I can see it on MLS. I see what he redid to it. I'm not going to pay you your price. That's insanity. Can save you money. Find my place real quick. I apologize, folks. I have a lot of good notes I wanted to share with you, but then I got sort of wrapped up in my story, and I apologize. When you think about it, it was a lead generation tool. If you imagine the power you'll have in your presentation or negotiations when you know, as I said, what a home was sold for, why, the terms, when, how long, all the data that you need to make a rational decision for a reasonable presentation. As I just mentioned about my friend, that's a perfect point. I wrote down, this is useful because it helps you sift and sort those who will waste your time versus real leads. Okay, you've all been in that situation where you've had somebody call up and say, well, gosh, we're thinking of selling our home and we'd like you to come out and give us an offer. And you're like, oh, great. And thinking about it, great, and you're going to move on out there and maybe you didn't qualify them a little bit. Having access to the MLS will tell you a lot about this. When did they buy it? And as I said, you'll know a little bit more about who's a real lead versus somebody who maybe bought their property, 6 months ago. Maybe that's an extra call before you come out. I don't know. See, you have to understand, generating more leads does not mean, I want you to understand this, right? Generating more leads does not mean getting more names and phone numbers. If you want that, just go get a phone book, okay? What you want are motivated and qualified people to make a decision. I wrote down if you're prospecting through MLS, a third benefit is active sale data. Although this information many times is available on Zillow, the history is not always accurate or complete. How do I know this? Because even in our MLS, many times the history is not always accurate or complete, right? How can it be in MLS or if Zillow's getting its information from MLS? Additionally, changes in the MLS are not always reflected on Zillow immediately. If you have a price change on a property on Friday, it's probably not going to show up on Zillow Saturday morning or Friday afternoon. It may or may not. Who knows? You should be checking for mistakes. You know, when you think about it, it's really a big mistake for you as a realtor who invests to not set up automatic emails for yourself from MLS as well. I mean, you set them up for your clients. You might as well set one up for yourself or a couple for yourself because, well, let's just be honest. I'm not trying to be critical of our fellow agents, okay, but MLS agents often can and do make mistakes. And that is where you as an investor can find your arbitrage. That's where you can find your edge. That's where you can find your groove. If you're in this for the money and you're looking for a spot to make the money, that's where you got to go sometimes, is for those mistakes and motivation. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. You know, I think I mentioned this in episode 500 and certainly in other episodes throughout the podcast, that one of the things you're looking for in MLS is mistakes. You know, a mistake in let's say in zoning. You know, it could be zoned a certain way and they didn't zone it that way. For example, in Tucson, R2 is a zoning where you could build an extra house if the lot is a certain size. An R1 lot, you can only build one house on, right? So let's pretend the MLS agent lists the property and they're rushing through because this is the only listing they got and they're super excited to get it on MLS because the market's fast and they want to get paid, and they mistake that instead of being an R2 lot with 10,000, maybe 11,000 square feet, they put down that it's an R1 lot with 11,000 square feet. Now, for those of you who aren't local, the difference is huge. An R1 lot with 11,000 square feet in one building, nah, it's just a regular lot. An R2 lot, okay, with 11,000 square feet or so and one house on it, well, depending on where that house is, you could build a guest house, build another house. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities, and it increases the value of that property. Now, that's just talking about Tucson. And I'm sure where you are, there's a similar situation, right? So look for those types of mistakes in your marketplace, because there's agents like that in your marketplace where they're going to make mistakes and you can find it and you can capitalize on that. Now, what does capitalization mean? That's up, hey, that's between you and is it you buying it in personally? Is it you looking for a client? I don't know. It's up to you. But it's something that you can do. How about motivation? How many times have you looked in the multiple listing service and the seller's agent says something to the effect of, motivated seller will look at all offers? Really? Sold as is, handyman special, estate sale. All the keywords that you're looking for in the multiple listing service search, a lot of times will give you keys to somebody's motivation. Am I going to be looking for somebody, if I'm looking as an for an investment property, am I going to be looking for something that's been remodeled, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home? No, of course not. I'm looking for the junky piece of crap house, on the south side of town that needs a lot of work, because there's a lot of upside in that area. It's an up-and-coming area. There's a lot of people seeing the value of the south side. So, it's a great area now, right? When you think about it, agents can and do make mistakes. And when they talk about motivation, they will put the craziest terms in their remarks. And this is why it's important for you to review your hot sheet every single day. Every single day. You want to take a look at that hot sheet. The hot sheet will give you the glaring details, right? I mean, if you see something in an area of town that's, price reduced, just boom, the prices come down quite a bit, or a home just came on the market in a hot area, or something just came back on the market because the deal fell through. You find out about it that day. Information is what you're valued for. Okay, information is what you're valued for, not your ability to hide it. I see so many agents in so many meetings. It doesn't matter what company I'm in. It doesn't matter where I go, the state. A lot of agents are this way. They want to hide information and say, I don't want to share anything with you. I don't want to tell you something, because they feel that if you do that, then you've given away your value. But I'm here to tell you that your value is not in the information that you hide. Your value is in the information you can interpret. Because people can get information from anywhere and all sources. If they're not going to get the information from you, they'll get it from somebody else. They get a value from somebody else. They get whatever. And then that person controls the conversation. That person controls the flow of information. You be the source of information. I wrote down, it's hard to see a diamond in the rough, in the hot sheet, if you never get out in the field through the rough to look for the diamonds. How many agents have I seen in my career that sit in ivy towers and never go to the fields to look for the diamonds? That's why point number 3 comes up. Point number 3, you want a weekly preview of property. Now, look, this may seem old-fashioned, and I get it, right? But this method of finding business as a realtor or as an investing realtor is actually time-tested. And it's really your business to know what's going on in the market. It's your business. If you're a realtor, especially an investing realtor trying to find more leads, okay, I want you to think the 30,000-foot view here. I want you to take a step back from your business and look at the 30,000-foot view. What are you trying to accomplish? Okay, if you're trying to accomplish more sales, more customers helped, more families moved, right? Well, then it's your business to know what's going on in the market. You wouldn't go to a doctor who didn't know what if they didn't know what an arthroscopy was. I mean, he's like, yeah, we're going to cut your knee open and take a look at it. Whoa, time out. You ever heard of an arthroscopy? Oh, we don't mess with that. Listen, you got to know what's available in trends, right? Repairs, styles, conditions. Many times we're reluctant to go out because we think it's a waste of time, right? But what if, just play this game with me. What if you turned in that time into something productive? What if, okay, again, going back to this idea that statistically 2 other homes in that area are going to come out on the market soon. What if, okay, you looked for an expired or a canceled listing in a home near, in an area near you're going to preview, right? Let's say you're going to preview a home over here on Elm Street. You find expired or canceled on Poplar or whatever, right? Why don't you go preview that new home on the market and then go knock on that expired door, obviously if it's not relisted with somebody or sold, right? And then ask them, would they consider selling? Now, I mentioned this before, right? Would you consider selling? Hey, we've got this property over here. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property over here on Elm Street. It's got and it's $300,000. I'm curious, have you considered selling your property? Or whatever your script is. And they say no, or negative in some fashion, right? Well, Tom Ferry taught me a really cool trick. I like this one. Maybe I'm going to pass it on to you. At what price would you become a seller? That's a great question. Tom Ferry is the one that gave me that one, so shout out to Tom on that one. But when you think about it, that is a wonderful question. What price would you become a seller? Because this oftentimes opens this, we were thinking about it and we were thinking, but then the buts come out. And that's where you can discover if you can truly help them. This is what's begun the dialogue. When you think about it, if you do this 4 or 5 homes, maybe 1 to 3 times a week, I mean, how many leads would you find over the course of a year? And you'd get to know the market, you'd get to know the styles, you'd get to know what's coming on the market, you'd know what happened to the ones that didn't, and if they were willing to sell, you're going to come up with something. See, as many times, when you think about it, if you take an old idea, okay, and you mix it with something new or maybe put a twist to it, okay, then you can have something entirely new and fun. Because let's just face it, lead generation gets old fast. I get it, right? Sitting on the phone all the time, texting all day. Trust me, I know it gets tiring. But you still have to lead generate in some way, and you have to find a good, fun way that's effective and profitable as well as repeatable. Here, let's try another one. How about this one? Point number 4, the 1-minute YouTube video door knocking strategy. You're going to love this one. So this idea here, this technique is actually a very fun idea that I picked up along my travels. I'd love to say that I had complete creation of this one, but I didn't, right? This idea goes to a good friend of mine named Igor. He took a twist to an idea that I had, added to it, and made a really good idea. And I took this idea, twisted it a little bit more, and made it even better, I think. So let's see what you think. So it's the 1-minute YouTube video door knocking strategy. So basically in this technique, we're going to create a quick YouTube video. All right, keep it 1 minute or less, ideally. All right, and the idea is to give the viewer a quick way to get a video message from you, right? And it's customized for them or their area, right? Now, here's what you need. You need a YouTube channel, all right? You need a smartphone. Usually, ideally, you need a friend with holding a camera, right? And you need about 5 minutes, okay? Now, your message, okay, again, critical point, it has to be short. It has to be under 1 minute because people's attention spans, they just do not have it, right? And it can't talk about how great you are, nothing about how wonderful you are. I'm number 1 at this, or I'm the neighborhood specialist at that. Okay, the big idea, the 30,000-foot view again, all right, is, hey, look, I'm sorry I missed you. I was in your neighborhood. Okay, now if you're door knocking a particular neighborhood, this is what makes it really, really powerful. Is if you could say, well, I'm in the Hayden neighborhood, or I'm in the Sam Hughes neighborhood, or I'm in the whatever neighborhood, right? There's 3 different approaches that you can take with this, okay? If you have a buyer, let's say you're a realtor looking for a seller lead, looking for someone to sell their home and list it to you, right? But let's say you have a specific buyer you're looking for, right? So let's say your buyer's name is Fred and Mary Smith, okay? The specific person approach, you'd make a quick video with the phone with your friend saying to you, and here's, you'd be on the video just saying, hi, my name's Carl. I'm sorry I missed you. I'm a realtor here in the town. I was looking because in the Hayden community, because I got a buyer named Fred and Mary Smith. He works over here at the Ump plant. She works over here at Raytheon. She's an engineer. They're looking for something near in this neighborhood so their kids can go to the basis school. They got 2 kids, John and Jill. They're young and they really are looking forward to this area. If you happen to know of anybody who's looking to sell, please give me a call. Or if you're thinking of selling yourself, please give me a call. Have a great day, right? Something to that effect. Right? That's the specific person approach because you have a specific person and you're telling specific items about them. Now, here's the thing. What makes this technique powerful is the fact that they're not helping you. Okay? They're not helping you because of you. They're helping, Fred and Mary and Jack and Jill. They're not helping you. They're, well, gosh, I do know. We're thinking of selling our house. And Fred and Mary, well, yeah, we would consider it. We'll talk about how to get that message to them in just a second. I think you're starting to get the picture already if you've seen this. How about this approach, right? I'm buying. Okay? This is a powerful one, especially if you're a realtor particularly a realtor investor, right? So let's say you're going in the neighborhood and you want to buy in this particular neighborhood or this particular area, all right? In this case, you just make a video. Hey, my name's Carl. I'm sorry I missed you. I was out in your neighborhood, out in the Hayden neighborhood today. I was really looking at your property because I identified it as something I potentially would be interested in purchasing myself. If you have a minute, give me a call, 520-4, and then you go in your phone number and whatever, right? Then the third one, this is a variation of Tom Ferry's one-day showing, right? So you just simply say, well, look, hi, my name's Carl. I was in the neighborhood, a Hayden neighborhood today, and I was looking for homes, people who are looking to sell. We had a property that recently sold. We have three buyers who are looking to buy. I'm curious, would you be interested in a one-day showing of your home if I had a buyer? Please give me a call, blah, 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 right? So these three approaches, when you think about it, you as Mike Ferry always taught me, right? Your approach to a customer is you always want to identify, ask, approach, right? Now I had a brain fart, apologize. The attitude, approach, expectations is what I was getting at. Attitude, approach, expectations. So your attitude about what your customer was, you're going after, well, I'm going to get this listing or whatever, right? Your approach, what you're going to say. So in this case, it would be the specific person, or I'm buying, or would you be interested in a one-day showing, right? Whichever one of these approaches is going to apply, now you want to say, contact me, via text or phone, and then take this video and upload it to your YouTube channel. Okay? And again, it's just a very short video with one of these three approaches, specifically about the Hayden neighborhood or whatever, right? Then create a QR code, with the YouTube link. Now, if you don't know how to do it, just Google QR code. It'll tell you how to do it. It's very simple. Print the QR code on a small flyer, knock on the door, and if they're not there, then, leave the flyer at the property with the QR code on it, along with a little bit of information, just saying all you got to do is point your camera at this, and it'll take you to a special link. Because if they've got an iPhone, I didn't know this until just recently myself, but you can actually take your camera and just scan it. You don't even need a QR code app anymore. It just already has one built in. But what you're really trying to do is create a hyper-local message. Okay, you're looking for a hyper-local message to a hyper-local customer, because the problem that we always think, we need to send out massive big messages to we buy houses, or we do nationwide, or just make it a general message. And the problem with a general message is a general message gets ignored. But the more specific you make it, well, the more likely you'll get a response. That's why I'm suggesting you make it specific to the area, under a minute, and use one of those three approaches: the specific person, the I'm buying, and would you be interested in the one-day showing. Let's move on. Tip number 5. Contacting leads, aka lead generation, right? Okay, now you have a couple choices that you need to make in this business. And again, this is just kind of going off this premise of episode 500, where I was talking about if I was to sit down and consult you about areas of your business on that you need to improve, or what you could do to improve your business, if we were to sit down and one of the areas we were going to talk about was lead generation, these are some of the things I would say. And one of the things I would probably tell you is you have a couple choices you need to make in your business, because this is a business decision. What is your plan to reach the contacts that you need to make? Now, everybody recognizes there's a certain number of contacts that you need to make every day to make the goals you say you want for yourself. Okay? So you need to make a certain number of those contacts, but what is that plan? And what does a contact with a contact look like? Is it a phone call? Is it a text message? Is it a meeting? Is it breakfast? Is it lunch? Is it dinner? I mean, what does a contact look like? You see, it's really difficult to attach a return on investment in your time when it comes to lead generation. I mean, on the one hand, the argument is that there's now business that needs to be addressed, and that's true. I mean, you got bills today, bills to pay. Your wife's banging. Where's the money? I mean, I get it. Okay? But it's also true that there's business that needs to be developed over time. I mean, it's just a fact that if you don't generate a deal, you will be out of time and money. So how do you contact your prospect? I wrote down, you want to identify who your prospect is by area, by price range, by type, and other factors. I mean, you've got to drill down who is your prospect. Who's the person that you can deal with, want to deal with? Are you going to deal with everybody, everywhere, all price ranges, all areas, all types? Is that the kind of business you want to run? Okay, mazel tov. I'm cool with that. Have at it. If that's your business. Not mine, but okay. If, on the other hand, your contact is something else, it's specific types of homes and specific types of areas, you don't serve everybody. I mean, every wholesaler I know, every investor I know, every realtor I know has boundaries of some kind. You know, you gotta, if you have a clear picture in your head of who it is you're supposed to deal with, who you're trying to get a hold of, well, then it's easier for you to figure out how to get a hold of them. Because now you're going to be able to obtain their numbers, their emails, their addresses. You know, there's a lot of things you're going to be able to find out, you know, via MLS or whitepages.com or Spokio, or I mean, whatever your tool is, there's tools out there that'll allow you to do that. You want to text, email, visit, mail your prospect. I mean, when you think about the ways that people communicate today, it's true that people communicate differently. I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody around the home at 8:39 in the morning sitting around answering the phone, because I can assure you, if you have your phone off at any time between 8 in the morning and 10, you're probably getting a lot of telemarketing calls, robocalls, things of that nature from people trying to sell you insurance and whatnot. And maybe you're a little hesitant as a realtor to answer the phone because on the one hand, you think it's a customer, but on the other hand, you think maybe it might be a telemarketer. Well, why would it be any different for our customers? Calling people certainly is a way to get a hold of people. Always has been and always probably will be. But you have to ask yourself, is there a point of diminishing returns? Texting, on the other hand, I've noticed many people are a lot more responsive when it comes to text and a lot more honest. Right? They'll tell you exactly where things are. Because when you think about it, we haven't, as marketers, ruined it yet. I mean, with AI texting and whatnot, that's going to come out. It certainly will be ruined. But for the moment, texting is probably one of the biggest areas where you can reach the fastest response rate with your client. Because especially if you do it yourself. Emailing is another thing you can do. Now, email, I wrote for speed, but, email itself even is quickly becoming less and less responsive. I mean, it's not uncommon to have a less than 3% open rate, or less, even 5% for some people would be amazing on an open rate on an email. I mean, a non-business related open email rate, 3 to 5% is amazing. And when you think about snail mail, it's 1, maybe 2% at the most. Oof, gosh. You've got to generate these leads in some way or another. And again, as I said, I prefer text first because you can quickly eliminate those who aren't prospects quickly. Oh, we've relisted the home, or we sold it to our nephew, or we've rented it out, or blah, 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 blah. You get that handled with a quick text and it's on to the next. I wrote down, the best way to be effective in lead generation is to delete prospects quickly. Okay? People do not become motivated by our actions. Okay, it doesn't matter how much or what you do, you and your actions will not cause a prospect to suddenly become motivated. And if you do in some way manage to get this person somewhat motivated enough to do something, your ability to keep them on the hook is going to be tenuous at best. Your ability to keep a deal closed is going to be hard to do. You think about it, people do not become motivated by our actions. They become motivated by the things in their life. Those things, their mom died, sister got sick, they have to move, they got a new job, a new baby. Those are the things that motivate people in life. It's not me calling you 45 times in a month. It's not me texting you 100 times a day. It's not me banging on the door every week. It's none of those things. If anything, it causes me to block you. It causes me to close the door in your face. It causes me to call the cops for trespassing. I mean, whatever it is, it's not the way to get a motivated client. Can you change those things? Can you cause these things? No. So, look, I'm not saying delete them from your life. I'm saying delete them from your mind as active prospects. Okay, you have to operate at 0. If you think in your head that you've got plenty of prospects, plenty of leads, everything's hunky-dory, well, guess what? You're not going to go out and generate. You're not going to hunt. If you're not hungry, you won't hunt. You get complacent. Every single day, as Mike Ferry would say, start from 0. I wrote down, set it in your schedule. If you're going to lead generate, if you're going to become a powerful lead generation expert in the field of prospecting in real estate, which is what you're saying you want. Okay, you say when you clicked in Google or YouTube or however you got here, you typed in lead generation for realtors and you saw the podcast or you saw the video on YouTube or on Sell More Homes Now, you thought to yourself, and you clicked it, and maybe you've listened this far. Kudos to you. Thank you for putting up with my shenanigans. But none of it is going to make a bit of difference. All of your time will have been wasted. You should have slept in. You should have listened to something else if you're not going to do what I tell you here. You have to set it in your schedule. Consistency wins the day. Okay? There's 10 good times for you to prospect during the week. You just got to pick 60% of the 10, right? 6 out of 10 times. You pick 6 out of 10 times, you're going to do pretty well. Well, what are those times? Okay, well, let's start off. 8 to 10 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then 4 to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. If you pick 60% of that time right there, well, gosh, you're doing really well. How are you going to prospect? Well, you got text, email, knock on the door, call. Look, I've driven by their houses. I've gone up and down the neighborhoods, driven my car up to the drive, put it in park, and got out of the car, drove to the next one. It's 110 degrees. Yeah, I'm out there driving one by the other. I don't care. Listen. Think about long-term prospecting, right? The weekend could be used as well. But when you think about it, think about long-term prospecting, right? I remember one year I called over 5,000 people. I literally called over 5,000 people and talking to 5,000. I think I talked to like 5,700 people or something like that year. And God knows how many people actually called, probably 8, 9, 10, who knows, but physically talked to 5,700, right? And it was a really good year. I made like well over 275,000 for Tucson. That's a pretty good amount. I mean, I know you guys in LA and some of these other areas that's easy, but in Tucson that wasn't too bad, right? I was very proud. Got the Diamond Award that year. I was super happy. But I had to start all over again January 1st. And I'm okay with that. Okay, I'm okay with, because I recognize that every single year that I've been alive, every January 1st comes around, I got to start over again. And I'm okay with that. I've been around 49 years. I can deal with it. But it would be nice if I had something running all the time, if I had something running with me, if I had something, keep prospecting with me when I was sleeping, if I had something going all the time, like my YouTube channel, that would have been very helpful. Look, in the real estate economy to come, your value will not be based on your ability to list or show property. It simply won't. The way it is now, there's so many realtors out there commoditizing the business, okay? Through cutting commissions, through making excuses instead of learning sales skills. The real estate economy to come, the value of an agent's not going to be listing and showing property. It's just not going to be there. As I said, your value comes from your ability to interpret the data, the information. What does it mean that a home sold in 3 days, $10,000 over asking price with no concessions? What does that mean? I mean, your ability to convey data in a clear and concise way is what's going to cause you to be successful in the future. And if you had something like that on your YouTube channel, maybe that would help you sell something in the future. The problem is when you think about it, people in your marketplace are confronted by data from every single source. Your center of influence, your sphere, your past clients, the people you want to do business with. Okay, they're all confronted from data from every single source, from other realtors. The realtors mailing stuff in their neighborhood, just listed, just sold, blah, 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 right? The fake news media. I'll say it proud. I've been saying they were fake long before President Trump came around. I mean, why do we advertise in papers? Why do we spend our advertisement dollars in papers when they go out and on the routine criticize and trash the real estate industry or the real estate market or realtors or using realtors? Why do we support this? They're getting information from them. Oh, unemployment. Oh, the interest rates. Oh, global market. Oh, China. Oh, the stock market. Oh. Your people are getting information from this. They're getting information from their friends, their neighbors, if they talk to them, right? Their co-workers, people around the lunchbox. I mean, everybody in the world, they're getting real estate information from, but you. If you're going to try and generate more real estate leads to yourself without spending extra money. Yeah, I recognize you came here an hour ago with the intent to learn how to generate more real estate leads. And perhaps you had the idea that you were going to listen to this and find some way to spend extra money. But I'm here to tell you, if you want to make more money, if you want to be more profitable, if you want to have money in a business that's going to be more repeatable, then you have to stop throwing money at problems and expecting that they will be better. You have to be the source of information. You need to be seen in your community or your tribe or whatever you want to call it, regardless of the size, whoever they are, as the person they can trust to give them the straight dope. Listen, everybody starts out with 0 followers. Everybody starts out with 0 people in their center of influence. Everybody starts out with 0 transactions a year. You have to become the one who builds that. Nobody else is going to build that community. It has to be you. Think about this. Think about the red pill investor community. I mean, this is a model of what you could do in your life. When you think about it, I have a podcast, over 500 episodes, specifically designed for you for a specific topic. It is really, really narrow. I don't talk about real estate and real estate listings and sales. I'm talking about wholesaling and wholesaling sales skills and how realtors can wholesale and use sales. This is super finite, right? Not everybody gets this. Not everybody follows this. But those that do, okay, listen to every video, listen to every podcast, join the Facebook community, interact with me, send referrals, talk to me. I mean, what they ask for advice. I mean, when you think about it, why couldn't you be that in your community? Oh, I know, because Joe Schmuckatelli and Jill Susie Q did it first, right? Pfft, the internet wipes out all of that. It takes away the middleman, takes away the PR person that says your ad is bad, takes away all the things, the company, I'm sorry, not the company, the NBC, the ABC, the media companies that says that you can't promote your program. Look, when you create that community, again, regardless of size, you can give them the straight dope. You can create helpful videos, not salesy. You don't have to, hey, come on out to blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. I mean, you don't have to do that. Think about how quickly you turn off to something like that. I mean, what makes you think they're any different? I mean, when you think about it, you're watching this video, if you've watched it this long, or you've listened on the podcast in your car, you've listened for the same reason. It's because you realize I'm not going to hear, I'm not sitting here trying to sell you a line of stuff. I'm just telling you what I think. You got to give them the data, the facts. You got to give them the reality. And you got to make it fun. So guys, listen. In conclusion, I've gone over just a few ideas that you could use to strengthen or add your lead generation routine. The key is just like working out. You need to mix it up sometimes, your methods, so, you don't get stale because, your body, you keep doing the same old repetition, your body's going to get used to it. Same thing with your lead your lead generation. You keep doing the same things over and over and over again, you're going to get really, really tired of it, right? If you'd like to have a copy of these notes, well then feel free to check out in the comments section below. Feel free to check out on the podcast section below. I'm going to include a little bit.ly link where it'll go straight to my Dropbox and you can download a copy of this for free. It'll take a little bit of time for me to get the notes together for you, but I will certainly get a Dropbox copy of the notes for you so you can check them out on your own. Listen guys, I'd be interested to hear your free approaches as well and your techniques. Let me know in the comments section below. And if you felt like this podcast was helpful, do me a favor, share it with a friend. If you're on iTunes, give it a thumbs up. That way it can be shared with others. And as always, hope you have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.